I believe that we are live again. This is part 2 of my favorites after 1 year of solo travel. I've been struggling with this live thing. It's my first day of trying to do it. So this is part 2. I originally wanted it to be in one part. However, alas, this is how it is. So welcome to part 2 of my favorites after 1 year of solo travel. I have my little handy notes here. In part 1, we talked about my favorite countries, my favorite meal, and that's it. So next I'm going to talk about my favorite day. So my favorite day during my year of solo travel, one really stands out to me. It was when Nick came to visit me in Dubrovnik, and we took a boat tour all along the coast of Dubrovnik, and it was some of the most gorgeous views ever. Like, the water was so clear, so blue. It was a beautiful sunny day, like 70 degrees, and it was actually in April, so it was the off season. So we got incredibly lucky because there was basically no one else out there, no other boats out there. And what we did was we took a boat to a cave and jumped into the water and swam into the cave, and it was like the cave water was glowing. It was like this bright neon blue. I could not believe what I was looking at. It was like the Blue Grotto type situation, if you've heard of that, but it was absolutely incredible. And our captain said that typically there would be like 70 boats trying to get in, and there would be tons of people, and we actually got the cave to ourselves. So if you are planning on doing this, definitely go in the off season, and because then there'll be a lot less people. But we got so lucky because it was a perfectly sunny, warm day. Like, we were not cold at all, and we got it like all to ourselves. Oh, it was incredible. And so then we made a whole bunch of other stops at other caves, and one of the crazy caves is we parked outside of the cave, in the boat, jumped in, and then we swam into the cave. And then what we had to do was swim under the water underneath the wall of the cave and then pop up, and then it was like an opening in the cave. And so it was really scary because we had to swim. It was deep, and so we had to swim in between these narrow crooks of the cave and swim underneath the water, hold our breath, and then pop out. It was scary, but so fun. So fun. And then we stopped at an island stopped at a beach at an island, and this one actually had sand. So but a lot of the beaches in Croatia don't have sand, and so that's why they're so clear. That's why the water is so clear, because you know how sand can muddle up the water. It was so clear and so beautiful. Like, I highly recommend doing a boat tour. So that was my favorite day. It was just the best day with me and Nick, and I have a whole video about that day if you want to put some visuals to the story. Highly recommend. All right, next is my favorite moment. Okay, so my favorite moment during my year of solo travel obviously is very difficult to choose, but one of the moments that stands out to me was my very first night. So I had packed up all my stuff, cleaned my apartment. It had been a crazy few weeks leading up to my departure, but I fly to Paris, and then I get there at like 4 p.m. I get to my hotel, and I decide to go. I'm about to sneeze again. Allergies are still bad. Sorry. Excuse me. It's a bad season for my allergies this year. You're gonna get sick of me talking about my allergies. My whole family has. But anyway, so I go to the Eiffel Tower. It gets dark. I go to the Eiffel Tower. I climb up to like the second or third level of the Eiffel Tower, and I'm like touching the Eiffel Tower. I can't believe I'm inside of the Eiffel Tower, and all of a sudden it starts sparkling. Like, I was inside of the Eiffel Tower as it started sparkling all around me, and it was one of the most magical moments. It made me be like, I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. All this hard work has paid off, and I am about to embark on my dream of solo travel. It was a very special moment. I'm very grateful for it. Paris will always have a special place in my heart, that's for sure. Okay, next, my favorite person that I met. There are two people that stand out to me from my trip, and they were both in Malta. So the first person is my Airbnb host in Malta. She was this local older Maltese woman, and she was so funny and so unique. She lived by herself in this huge house. She was this very tiny lady who walked so unbelievably fast, but she was so caring and thoughtful and sweet. And so she told me all the places that I needed to go. She even took me to the little gas station to buy the bus ticket and taught me how to use the bus system, and she even drove me to the nearest bus station. And she told me a story of when she was on a trip with her friend, and they were walking everywhere, and she walks incredibly quickly, and by the end of the trip her friend was like yelling at her saying, "You walk way too fast, I cannot keep up with you." And they had a falling out, and she does not speak to her friend anymore because this woman walks so fast. Like, I could barely keep up with her, but she goes on these long walks every day, and she's healthy and fit, and good for her. But I just thought that was the funniest story ever. And then my other favorite person that I met was also in Malta, and so I booked this tour called Underground Valletta, and it's where they take you on a tour of the underground cave systems and the underground Valletta. Valletta is the capital city of Malta, and so you have to wear a hard hat and you go underneath and explore underneath the streets, and there's a lot of really cool history in there. But I was obviously a solo traveler, and I saw another girl that was on the tour alone as well, and she was about my age. And so we start talking, and we end up exchanging numbers, and we end up hanging out in Malta later that day. And it was just so fun to be able to chat with, someone my own age that's also doing something similar as me, solo traveling in Malta. So that was really special. And I still follow her on Instagram, and hopefully that we'll get to hang out again sometime. But she's actually living in Holland. She's from like near Amsterdam, so that was really special and fun. And because meeting people and chatting and being social, like I was getting kind of lonely by that time in Malta, because solo traveling, I'll make a whole other video about this, but it can be hard. There can be a lot of ups but also a lot of downs. And so I have some crazy stories with the struggles that I'll definitely talk about. But this one is supposed to be positive and about my favorites. So are there any other, okay, a place you would want to go back to? Sorry. I'll make sure I take more allergy pills before I do lives next time. So anyway, a place that I would want to go back to, 100% hands down, Japan, because there's just so much more to explore. I want to go down there during the cherry blossom festival. I want to go there in the winter when there's snow. Japan, I'm definitely going back to. I also met someone, I have a friend now who lives there, so I'm going to go visit him at some point for sure. And then also Malta. I spent like 10 days there, and I still would go back in a heartbeat because there is still so much to explore. And there's some things that I wish I would have done when I was there. And I'm actually I've made 2 videos about Malta so far on my channel, but I'm actually working on a big, longer documentary about like the prehistory and the mysteries of Malta. And so be on the lookout for that. I'm very excited to make that documentary. It's just kind of had to be on the back burner for a while, but definitely Malta. If you're interested in anything prehistory, definitely. I'm planning on going back to Malta soon. Hopefully, I'm just throwing that out there. I also need to go back to Costa Rica. I've missed Costa Rica. I love it so much. And I actually think I'm going to have to end this video here because I'm having a full-on allergy attack. So, if you like this format, leave a comment. Also subscribe and put on the notification bell so you know when I'm going to be doing live. So if you do, it'll tell you when I'm live, and you could watch it live, and chat in the chat, and I'll respond. So that would be awesome, because I really want to get to know my subscribers more and see what type of videos you want me to post and what you enjoy, what you like, what you don't like. So that would be really, really cool if I could get to know you guys a little bit more. And I figure, why not do lives? So I'm going to be doing a few more lives this week on all different types of topics. But I think that's it for now. I really appreciate you